as is the routine on Tuesday mornings, we bring in investigator Mario Diaz for Pop-Off Politics. This is where Mario and the KPRC2 Investigates team highlight one or multiple agenda items from this week's Houston City Council meeting. Tuesday is the day for public opinion at City Hall, known as Pop-Off, which is why Mario joins us today. Mario,
how you doing?
What are you popping off on?
Okay, well, let me tell you. We have 202 pages this week in the agenda, okay? Or excuse me, in the actual city council agendas, okay? 49 total agenda items. So on a scale of 1 to 10, this is about an 8 in size. We're focusing on the cancer cluster in the 4th Ward. Let me get right to the graphic here on this one, all right? Agenda item 48 is an ordinance creating the 5th Ward Voluntary Relocation Fund, appropriating $5 million out of the general fund to balance for purposes associated with the voluntary relocations. Okay, so let me break this down exactly what this means. This goes back to the Union Pacific Rail Yard that's being built out in the 5th Ward, or some call it the Nickel. This rail yard made news a few years back because of cancer-causing chemicals found in the ground in the areas around it. Now, this had a lot of people concerned, and we saw Mayor Turner weigh in because of the fact that you had chemicals linked to cancer as well as other severe health risks that were discovered there.
All right, so we always know, follow the money trail. Where's the money component to Houstonians here?
Well, that's a good question here, okay? And the city wants to pony up $5 million. This is coming from the general fund to move those impacted by the cancer cluster area to be moved out of the 5th Ward and Cashmere Gardens. All
right, but that would seem like that would be good for their health, so where's the pushback on that?
Well, there's been a little bit more pushback than expected on this. In fact, Councilmember Letitia Plummer tagged this item last week, and that had Mayor Turner asking some questions. Why tag this? Plummer had her reasons for saying, let's just pump the brakes here for a moment and give this a good look. Just take a look at this exchange here right now.
What are we waiting for? For somebody else to die? From some other child to be diagnosed? What are we waiting for?
I want them to be safe, but I also want them to understand what they're dealing with to ensure we carry them through the entire process. And we don't just move 7 families, we move every single person that wants to move.
And you heard Councilmember Plummer there say that she wants to make sure that everyone is properly made aware. That was the reason for the tag.
So what has the city done to make these citizens aware of
That's
this?
a good question. The city has been putting together presentations. Back in early August, they had one made to 5th Ward and Cashmere Gardens Community Advisory Boards. There also is a strike team there where over 4 days they were able to directly connect with 76% of the residents in the area, keeping them informed about this. And then they had a second meeting nearly 2 weeks ago now to continue to get the word out here.
And then are the homeowners going to get any help? Like, what do they get out of this?
Okay, so those that have a mortgage right now that's paid off, they're going to get a new home at a cost of roughly $250,000. Those with the mortgage, okay? They're going to get a new home with the existing balance that's left on the mortgage. And if you're a renter, you're going to get $10,000 for first and last month's rent to get into another place. But again, this is all voluntary as of right now.
What about the owners of the site? Are they? I mean, what do they get for their property?
Companies? Yeah, the rail companies, they've been weighing in on this. Union Pacific told KPRC2 that it will listen, maintain transparency, and work collaboratively with the community while keeping its best interest at the forefront of our actions. And then Union Pacific officials tell us once the EPA approves additional testing, they will, quote, provide the essential data needed to make informed decisions regarding any required additional remediation.
When are they going to talk about this again? Today?
This is going to be taking place at City Council today in the pop-off section, which is why, I mean, what happens is City Council members will discuss it, okay? And they'll have pop-off. They're going to have community engagement come in. That's why we call it pop-off on Tuesdays. That's when the community comes out and says, hey, I have an opinion on this. They call up Mario Diaz, you can come up and speak, right? Or they call up Haley Hernandez, you sign up, and that's when you pop off. But then tomorrow is when the council will take action on this. Wednesday mornings is when the City Council will meet. They'll have the vote and they'll take action. By all accounts, it can't get tagged again.
Okay.
And that's because everybody who was able to tag it last week tagged it. But then if you were out last week, you can tag it again. But I think everybody else was there. So usually tags happen once. Sometimes you'll get it on twice. but I think this one's pretty much ready to go for the vote.
I ask because I know that we've interviewed tons of citizens in that area
Right.
who have had health complications. I know one woman, both of her parents died of pancreatic cancer. She's actually not even going to be here because she had surgery on last Tuesday for ovarian cancer.
You know how significant this is for
This
those people.
impacts humans, yeah. And so I'm wondering what their take is going to be. I'm wondering if they know that they can show up and have a voice in this.
You know, that's a good question. Not too many people understand how city politics tends to work, county government or state politics. There are these sessions in which the public can come down and pop off. Again, that's the name of the segment because that's what they call it here in Houston. But it's basically an opinion from the public. If you hear of a bill or an agenda item or if they have an ordinance and it's impacting your neighborhood, you're able to go and sign up on a sheet and explain it to the county commissioners, to the city council members, to state legislators in committees and say, here's why I feel this might not be a great idea, or here's why I feel this is great for our community. Usually you only get about 2 to 3 minutes. And if they want to extend your time, they can extend your time. If they have questions, they'll ask you the questions as to why you feel that way. Maybe you have some evidence that you bring forth that they can want to grill you on a little bit more to understand it better. But to the point that you're bringing up, sometimes people just don't have an idea. Sometimes they are obviously not available. People have jobs. It's difficult to make some of these hearings take place and make them happen. But in this community, you know that this has been such a huge issue. It's been out in the forefront. It's been covered by us. And it's been out there that you know that people are well aware about this.
Okay. All right, Mario Diaz, and once again, he and his entire Investigates team are always looking out for you. Thank you for joining us this morning. If you do have a story, you can email Mario at mdiaz@kprc.com. Thanks again. Appreciate it.
Okay.
All right, KPRC.